All right, and we'll get fired up. So the first thing that I would tell somebody if they really hated stretching a certain part of their body would be do a good thorough warm up. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a good thorough warm up, starting with a little bit of squatting. If squatting is no-go zone for you, you can march in place or you could do lunges. So feet are comfortable width apart. I'm squatting down. I'm coming up. You don't have to go as deep as me, or you can go deeper. The world's your oyster. We're just getting moving. And we're getting moving in this frontal plane. So the going forward and backward plane, if I was doing lunges, I'd be doing it like this, moving forward and back. Getting as deep as I'm comfortable going, but no deeper, right? Not trying to hurt myself before we get started. Or if I'm marching in place, just getting those knees up as high as I can comfortably to get the job done here. Now, I do want to go in more than one direction, more than one plane of motion. So the next direction that I would take my body in is a side lunge, where I'm stepping to the side, nice wide step, and then one knee bends, come on up, step back, and go back and forth. Now, let's say that stepping is a problem for you. You can hang out here. That still meets the requirement. Or you can just step, right? The goal is really to move to the side in some fashion. Now we'll know that we have enough of a warm up in an ideal situation. If you're sweating slightly, we're going to switch directions. So I'm going to step to the other side now. However, with a 15-minute stretch break, we might not have time. In fact, I know that I don't have time today to do the perfect warm up where I'm getting fully warmed up, that slightly sweating situation. On a humid day, you may have to get to full on sweating. And the reason why we want that good, thorough warm up is we want to make sure all of the tissues that we're stretching and taking care of today are fully vascularized, like we have good blood flow in there. And that can be indicated by a lot of different things, but that slightly sweating is a nice indicator to rely on. All right, so we've got forward and back. We've got that side to side. Ideally, we would also do a little bit of twisting, but because I can't see any of you, hard for me to choose an exercise that's appropriate for the group. So instead, we're going to get into a little bit of this motion that we're going to be working on. So the forward folding motion. To do this, we're just going to do a hip hinge. And this is sort of like a very specific warm-up. So upper body stays one piece, one plank, one solid block. And if you could see my waist, my lower back isn't going to arch anymore or any less as I move. I'm only going to hinge at my hips. My legs are going to have little soft bend in them or stay straight, whatever feels right to you. And the only thing that's going to move is my hip joint. My hip joint is going to push back because otherwise I would fall over. But other than that, this is the only point of movement for me. Now, how do you know how low to go in your hip hinge? You're going to go until you feel a little bit of a stretch in the back of the hamstrings. And you want your glutes and hamstrings to be sort of powering you back up. So this is not like a roll back up situation. This is just glute squeeze, hamstring squeeze a little bit. And you can put your hands right on your body to make sure that you feel those muscles tensing up. So the brain work here is making sure that you are keeping the body in one piece, the legs in one piece, just hinging at the hips. And to do that, you may notice that you need a little bit of core engagement here to keep your body from arching or rounding through your back, to keep knees from getting squirrely, to make sure there's no side to side movement as well. Beautiful. Now, sometimes people will choose to do a little bit more motion as part of their warm up. They might do some leg swings, forward and back, and then side to side. We're going to cut that out just because we don't have time for it. But if you are doing this on your own, you absolutely could include that as well. However, if you are doing leg swings, you're not really winding up and then kicking as hard as you possibly can. You're going to do them a little bit more slow and controlled than that. So thinking about where could I pause and hold it? Great. And same with going out to the side. You'd be thinking, where can I pause and hold it? Maybe going slightly higher than that, but not too much higher than that. And again, you're doing that in more than one plane of motion. So maybe this is a way that you could safely get some twisting through the hip joint is by kicking your toe up towards the ceiling, as well as having your knee and your toe facing forward. All right, so moving on from our warm up, the next thing I would tell somebody who really hates forward folding is think about the surrounding muscle groups. So we have glutes, we've got calves, and those are hamstrings are here. So those should be the things that are all stretching down the back of your leg as you're doing a forward fold. So if you're really feeling a lot of tension in the hamstrings, take care of your glutes and take care of your calves. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to have my right foot a bit forward, left foot back, and I'm really pushing my weight into that back heel. And then I'm going to get my hips a little bit closer to the floor until I can feel a stretch in that back calf. Now, it can help to hold on to something to push your weight. So I'm pushing off of the things in front of me to push my weight into that heel just to feel that stretch. Might also help to rock your hips a little bit side to side. See if you can find some angles through that stretch where you notice it more. And sometimes, let's say I have my feet staggered, so my right foot's in front, my back heel is the one getting stretched. You might have toes that are angling slightly out, and that's your body evading the stretch a little bit. So you want the toes faced forward or even slightly inwards towards the right side of your body to help achieve that stretch. So just bear that in mind if you're having difficulty finding the stretch. Of course, your hips are going to be square here. Now, if you would like, you can also bend the knee of the back leg. See how that changes the stretch. And then bring it back to straight. But you're going to keep the heel on the floor. So that bend might be a micro bend. All right, we're going to go ahead and do the other side. So now I have my left foot forward, right foot back. I'm finding the stretch in that right calf. I will say, when your leg is straight, you're targeting the calf more. If you get that micro bend in your knee, that's soleus more. It's kind of distinction without a difference because they tend to work as a unit a lot. But just so I'm not lying to you when I say calf all the time. Finding that stretch. If the sway side to side helps you, go for that. If paying attention to the angle of the toes, making sure that they're facing forward, or your right toes slightly towards the left. That can also be useful. Take one last breath here. And come on out of it. So we did the calves. Next, we're going to target the glutes. Now, the glutes we're going to do with a figure 4 stretch. There are other glute stretches to do, but that's the one that we're going to do today. If you can, lean against a wall or sit in a chair, it will be a lot easier for you. So let's say that I'm comfortable doing this stretch. I'm standing on my right leg. I have a bend through my left knee and my ankle is flexed with my left foot. And then from here, leaning back against the wall or sitting in my chair, and then I can bring my upper body down, maybe bring it side to side slightly to find some nice angles on that stretch. However, let's say this is a little bit advanced for you, does not feel good for your body. Bring your foot down a little bit. Keep some bend in the left knee, a nice flex in the left ankle, and you can still bring your body down, find the side to side stretch. It also works in the chair. So we're just keeping that right leg straight in this modified version as I bring my body forward and find nice angles on the stretch. And we'll go ahead and switch sides now. Whatever level is right for you. Can also feel nice to take your hand and press down slightly on your bent knee. Gently, right? We're not trying to pop anything, but just a gentle pressure to help yourself into the stretch. Much easier sitting or even laying down than doing this leaning up against the wall though. Step one when taking care of your health is don't hurt yourself because that's bad for your health. All right, we're gonna move on now. Finally, we're getting to our hamstrings. So here is where I would start getting into that forward fold and we're working in and out of the stretch. So I'm just seeing how my body feels in this moment. I'm working into the stretch and then I'm going to come out of the stretch whenever it starts to feel annoying, bad, yucky to me. And then I'm going to come back in whenever I'm ready to come back in. Some of you guys are just going to be more than delighted to camp out down here. You do you, but some of us think that this is just the worst stretch ever, and that's okay too. Can also help to really take a few deep breaths, really inhaling just as much as you possibly can, and then exhaling. So how I would do this, inhale, and then exhale, and see if I can just drop down 1 more millimeter. And if I can't, that's totally fine. Can also help while I'm down here to really flex my quads and think about using my own leg muscles to pull my body towards my thighs. That's called reciprocal inhibition. And basically we have reflexes that when I contract one muscle, the opposing muscle group is triggered to let go a little bit. Might be just 1 millimeter, but that is a trick that's used sometimes. Now, I currently have my legs kind of close together. Let's say this is just not flying for me. I'd spread my legs and do this wide-legged, a little bit more gentle on your body. And you can also do the exact same game, working in and out whenever you need to come out, come out. But if you feel good, you can hang out down here. And you can also do that same, tense your thighs, use your own muscles to draw you down just a little bit more. One last deep breath here. And then we're going to come on out. And the final thing that I would tell somebody who is struggling and wanted to get into these forward folds more, but has grumpy hamstrings is don't forget the counter stretch. So after I do stuff for the back of my leg, do something for the front of my leg. You can do a quad stretch here where you're holding onto your foot. You could also do a hip flexor stretch where I'm focusing on the front of my hip joint here and sinking down, tucking glutes and hamstrings. So you're going to choose whatever's most appropriate for you and how you're feeling. I'm going to do the quad stretch just because the calf stretch is very similar. Now, let's say I can't reach my foot. I love my friend the chair here. I can absolutely rest my foot on the chair. I could also hold on to the bottom of my pant leg if that's better for me. It will help to find that quad stretch if I draw knees together rather than have them apart and have them even with each other. If you haven't already, go ahead and switch sides. And that's it. That's the end of your stretch break. Thank you all for joining me. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Take care, everyone.